this finance, accounting, and risk presentation that we're going to do. My name is Nancy Molife, and I am a lecturer in finance in the FAR department, as we call it, but I'm also the internationalization lead. And what that means is, apart from speaking to you now about finance, accounting, and risk, I will also be the person that's responsible for making sure that your journey is comfortable and your whole experience at GCU FAR department is going to be enjoyable. So I'll meet with you just before you start your studies, and then I'll meet with you again every so often just to make sure that everything's going okay with you. I have my email address. I'm just actually putting that on into the chat. So you've got my email address there if you wanted to ask anything. But in addition, I'm going to have all the program leaders for all the different programs that we're going to have a look at. Their emails are also going to be on the screen. And you can go ahead and ask me to go back to a slide. If you haven't managed to catch that email address, that will be okay. And then, of course, there's always a chance to ask questions at the end as well. Right, okay. So it's the postgraduate courses that we have. So we're going to just start with the names of the programs themselves. We've got a master's in international banking and finance, a master's in risk management, a master's in financial technology or fintech, and a master's in accounting and finance regulation. And apart from the academic requirements that we have, which I'll show you through the slides that we're going to do, we also have what we call RPIL. This is a recognition of prior informal learning. It's just essentially if you have managed to do something which demonstrates that you have the knowledge required and the underpinning required to be able to do the master's course, then we will take whatever it is that you have done. For example, maybe you have worked in industry for a long time and you have the prerequisite knowledge. You will submit that to us and we'll assess it. And then we will rate to see whether this is one of the acceptable sources that we have. So just reach out if you feel you're in that situation and maybe your academic sources don't quite match the ones that I'm going to discuss now. Right, okay, so now we're going to go into each course. Right, this one is the Masters in International Banking and Finance. The program leader is Sigurd Wibo, and you've got his email address there in the green. And for all the courses that we have an English language requirement, the international requirements, IELTS, and the score required is 6.0. And we say or equivalent in case you have another qualification that is equivalent to the IELTS 6.0. But we must have no element below 5.5. And then academically, we require a UK honours degree or equivalent. So again, you will submit your qualifications and we will vet to see whether they are enough to be equivalent to a UK honours degree of 2.2. And it must also be a relevant numerated subject area. So it could be accountancy, economics, finance, maths, physics, statistics, or any technical sciences that you have. And like I said before, and the RPIL is also relevant. If, for example, any work experience that you have done is giving you the prerequisite knowledge, we can discuss that. The modules that you will be looking at are bank risk management, commercial banking, ethics, sustainability and governance, financial risk modeling, financial securities and portfolio analysis, banking and financial regulation, global corporate finance and strategic bank management. In addition to these, you'll need to do a research project at the end, which is related to one of these. So this is a topic that you choose for yourself, and you'll do your research project with an assigned supervisor who is a subject expert, and they will guide you through everything that you need to do. So this is the Masters in International Banking and Finance. The program leader is Sigurd Wibo. His email address is there. And if you don't quite catch it just now, if this is the one that you're interested in, we can always come back again later and you can have a look at the email address again. So we're going to just go ahead and move on. If you do have any questions to do with the MSc International Banking and Finance specifically, you can put some questions in the chat, and I've got my colleague Katie McRae who's going to be helping out as well. Right, so we go to the next one now. Right, the next one is the MSc in Financial Technology, FinTech, as we said. The program leader for this one is Mauricio Silva. Again, his email address is in the green. We have the standard English language requirement, which is 6.0, no element below 5.5. And academic requirement, again, UK Honours Degree 2.2 or equivalent. And this time, the requirements are slightly different, if you like, in terms of the subject. So we need to have a computing subject, a relevant computing subject, or a finance subject, which is appropriate in terms of the maths and computing component in it. So these are the requirements for the MSc FinTech. The modules, just to give you a flavor of what you will be studying: bank risk management, software development for data science, artificial intelligence and machine learning, data ethics and research methods, banking and financial regulation, fundamentals of financial technology, financial risk modeling, data visualization, and again, a master's finance research project. So this is a requirement for all of our masters because it gives you the necessary foundations for having critical analytical thinking that you will need when you actually go out into the workplace. Right, so again, if you need us to come back to this email address, if you don't quite catch it, we'll do that. Or if you have any questions to do with our MSc in FinTech, please put your questions in the chat and my colleague will be able to pick those up. Right, here's the next one. We have a master's in risk management, and the program leader for this one is John McNeil, and there is his email address. If you have any questions specific that I may not be able to answer, I will be able to pass them on to any program leader that you want to address your questions to. Our English language requirement is the same: IELTS 6.0, no element below 5.5. Academically, UK Honours Degree 2.2 or equivalent. And this time, again, a difference in terms of any subject area is acceptable for the Masters in Risk Management. So it doesn't need to necessarily have any computing or mathematical element in it. So any subject area, as long as it's a 2.2. In addition to your studies that you have on the right-hand side, which I'll go through in a minute, we have what we call a 2-year professional practice option for the MSc in Risk Management. What that means is that you'll do your 1-year degree as normal, your master's degree, and then in the second year, you'll have a chance to go on a placement. So your placement will be anything from 6 months to a year. Ideally, it should take the full year. We don't actually source the placement for you, but what we will do is we will help you as much as we can. We've got a lot of industry contacts that we can speak to, that we can try to arrange a placement with you. And that's something that we can work with you towards in order to get your placement. And if you don't manage to get a placement, then you can still graduate with your master's in risk management. So that is still an option. So the modules, again, to give you an idea of what you'll be studying: quantitative and qualitative approaches, behavioral risk management, strategic foresight analysis, crisis and operational resilience, managing risk in the global economy, project risk management, ethics, sustainability and governance. So that forms one module. Developing leadership for the common good, and then again, always that postgraduate research project you're going to be doing. And for these, you'll be assigned a subject expert. You get to choose what you would like to be involved in, what you want to do your extended project in. And it can be any one of these topics or anything related to risk management, which is not necessarily part of something that you have looked at specifically. So you can decide along with your supervisor what topic you would like to pursue, and we will support you in this. So this is the MSc in Risk Management, and the program leader is John McNeil. So that's his email address there. We'll go ahead and move to the next one. Again, any questions to do with the MSc Risk Management, please go ahead and put those into the chat, and I will be able to answer some questions for you. Right, the next course that we have is the MSc in Accounting, Finance and Regulation. The program leader for this is Daniel McGregor. His email address is there in the green. But I think you have noticed a pattern. All our email addresses are firstname.lastname@gcu.ac.uk. So even if you forget the exact email address, just because you know the format, you'll be able to reach out to any one of us just by knowing our first name and our last name as well. Right, so the English language requirements are the same. So 6.0, no element below 5.5. Any equivalent qualification that you have to IELTS is also acceptable. The academic requirements are a UK Honours Degree 2.2 or equivalent, and in any relevant subject area. So here we're looking at subjects such as accountancy, business, economics, finance, or mathematics. And if you're not very sure, then reach out to find out if your subject is acceptable for this particular course. The modules that you look at in the MSc Accounting, Finance and Regulation are ethics, sustainability, and governance. So again, this forms one module there. Developing leadership for the common good, international financial reporting and regulation, management accounting control, international financial management, financial management for strategic decision making, current issues in audit and regulation, financial risk modeling, and then, as always, your master's research project. Very, very important that you're going to do at the end with the support of your subject expert supervisor there. Right, we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Again, if you have any specific questions to do with the MSc Accounting, Finance and Regulation, then you can go ahead and put them in the chat just now. Make a note of the program leader's email address or make a note of my email address, which I put in the chat earlier, and you can go ahead and send me an email as well if you don't wish to ask now, although now is a really good time to interact and engage and ask as many questions as you like. Right, now for all the courses that you do, we have accreditations with the relevant professional bodies. So for the MSc Risk Management, we've got the Institute of Risk Management, that one there. And then we've also got the Chartered Insurance professional body. And that's the one that is for MSc Risk Management. So we've got two. We've got at least one professional body for each of the courses that we have. The MSc Professional Accountancy, we've got quite a lot of them. The Chartered Accountants there, International Chartered Accountant Society there, and we've got CIMA and we've got SIPFA. You'll be familiar with a lot of these yourselves because these are the courses that you're wanting to go ahead and actually be involved in. So I'm sure you're well aware of who the professional bodies are, but we have all of them, and they have given us their accreditation. And the accreditation basically means that they are putting their trust in us. They're saying that what we're teaching you is aligned with what they require for you to become chartered. Right, I can see a couple of comments. Oh, right, okay. So, thank you, Katie. You asked a question about where everybody is. Right, we've got people from Kenya. Right, hi, Abigail. And the question that we have is it possible to change courses even after receiving an unconditional offer? Right, the answer to that is yes, it is entirely possible, subject to spaces being available. And also, if you have the necessary academic requirements and you should have the English language requirement, given that you've been accepted on another course. So it is entirely possible to change, but I would urge you to have a good think about what it is that you want to sign up for, and then perhaps speak to us as well about helping you, to guide you in what you would like to do, so that you just come in and you go straight into the course that you would like to do. Right, so we've got a question from Olukayode, and it says, how does the MSc Accounting, Finance and Regulation fast track? Right, so I'm not sure that we talked about the fast track, unless you were referring to the 2-year professional route. Can you just clarify what you mean by that question, actually, and then I can answer that. I'll just come back to the slide here where we're talking about the accreditations. Well, some more questions are coming in. Right, okay, so the accreditations, as we said, right, we've got the Chartered Institute of Securities and Investments there for MSc International Banking and Finance. We also have the Chartered Institute of Insurers, and we've got the Bankers Institute as well for MSc International Banking and Finance and the MSc Financial Technology. Now, for these two specifically, once you have actually graduated, because the Chartered Banking Institute is accrediting these courses and saying they're actually aligned with what they would like you to know to become chartered, upon graduation, you're already going to be associate chartered bankers. So you just need to do your courses there with us, and you already become associate chartered bankers. There are a few other requirements that you're going to have to fulfill, right, in terms of exams and also in terms of professional experience to become fully chartered bankers. But upon graduation already, you have managed to become associate chartered bankers, which is very good and very prestigious indeed. And it stands you in good stead for finding a job. Right, so I'm just not keeping an eye on the chat for now because I would like to just go on to the next slide. But please keep your questions coming in because I will have a look at them straight after finishing all the slides. Right, and then in terms of your awards, right, if you're studying MSc FinTech or MSc International Banking and Finance, you will have a chance within your actual master's to gain Bloomberg market certificates. So Bloomberg, right, I've got some pictures there showing you examples of a Bloomberg terminal on the left, and then your certificates of completion that you would get at the end. What Bloomberg actually is it's the world's leading professional data analysis program that is, or platform that is used by professionals in industry. So we have this, and we have this integrated into these two courses. And with these two courses, you, at the end of them, you will have some time and have access to completing these certificates. And what these certificates say is that you're proficient in using Bloomberg. And because this is the same system that is actually used in industry, it means that it makes you very employable. Employers love it. If you have these certificates, you can actually, you've got e-certificates as well. So you can link them to your LinkedIn, you can put them onto your CVs, and you can send them out to employers. Employers know that you have the prerequisite skills to use Bloomberg, and they will be in a position where they're thinking, this person is ready for employment. And that's why we do this Bloomberg. It's not every university that has Bloomberg, but we have Bloomberg. And in addition to that, we have a whole suite of Bloomberg terminals that everybody can use. Now, just because you're not actually studying MSc FinTech or MSc International Banking and Finance does not mean you do not have access to the Bloomberg market certificates. We do have times when the Bloomberg suite is open and you have access to the suite yourself, and you can come and do this in your own time. So everyone has access to this. It's just that specifically MSc FinTech and MSc International Banking and Finance, as part of their programs, will have access to the Bloomberg suite, and also completing the Bloomberg market certificates. So that's the only difference there. There is no one that is excluded from gaining a Bloomberg market certificate if they wish. And again, if you have any questions on Bloomberg, you can go ahead and ask in the chat. I'll come back to the chat in a minute and see if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer. Right. Okay. So I'll start with Bloomberg, because we were just on Bloomberg just now. So we've got this financial platform, as I mentioned before, and I mention it as a unique point because other universities do not have the Bloomberg terminals, and if they do not have enough for in full class, which we have invested in because we recognize that this is something that is needed. If you're going to go out into the workplace and use Bloomberg, we want you to be work ready, and that's why we've got Bloomberg. Right, and then in addition to that technology that we have there, we also have cutting edge software such as At Risk for risk management, and many other technologies that we have that, again, you will be using when you get into the workplace. So in fact, you will be ready for work when you're a GCU graduate, certainly from finance, accounting, and risk. We will make sure that you're ready for the workplace. We also have a collaboration with Scotland's Innovation Centre for Data Science and AI. It's called Data Lab. So what they do is they're at, if you like, the cutting edge of innovative products for AI and for data science, and they produce them globally. Their products are used all over the world, but they're based here in Scotland. And we have a collaboration with them whereby their activities that they're actually producing, even before they go out into industry, they send them to us, and we use them in your lectures, we use them in your seminars. So you're actually using sometimes data that hasn't, or data analysis techniques that haven't even gone out into industry. So it may be that when you actually go out into the workplace, you will be the most knowledgeable person on that technology, because they would not have had access to it, but you would have had access to it because you're studying in GCU Finance, Accounting, and Risk Department. So that's Data Lab. We also have industry guest lectures. So we've got people coming in who are actually on the ground, they're out there in industry working, doing the jobs that you want or hope to go and do. And they come in and they bring the theory together with the practice of what's actually happening in industry, and they come and speak with you about this. And this is right across all the courses that we do. And for specifically for MSc Risk Management, we have what we call a risk clinic. And this is students working with employers on real-life case studies. And this boosts your practical skills so that when you're actually on the job, you are knowing what to do because you've done it before. You've done it when you were doing your master's degree. And we're making sure that you're ready for employment. And because of all of these reasons, you'll see on the left-hand side, some of the companies, this is not all of them, I've just taken a selection of them, some of the companies where our graduates are actually working. So we've got Morgan Stanley, Rolls-Royce, Barclays, Advanta Wealth, BDO, Hilton, Lloyds Banking Group, and KPMG. You'll be familiar with a lot of these names, if not all of them, because they're all world famous. And what I would like to just highlight as well is that it's not only companies that are specifically in the financial sector that you can work with. So with our degrees, you can go ahead and work with Rolls-Royce, and you can be working as their financial manager. And we do, in fact, have a GCU graduate who is working at Rolls-Royce. And we've got Hilton Hotels, again, not specifically financial services, but You can go in, you can work as a financial manager in those companies, and they're open to GCU graduates because they know the quality that comes out of GCU degrees. And then on the right-hand side, what you can see in the yellow there are some of the positions that you can end up working in. So these are actual positions that our previous graduates are working in or working as. So you can be an operations analyst, a risk analyst, cyber risk analyst, financial analyst, investment private banker or investment manager, risk consultant, regulation analyst, mortgage advisor, financial advisor and planner, business development manager, fund managers, investment associates. So these are only some of the positions that you can go and work in. There are plenty of positions in the financial sector. And as I said previously, we bring people from industry to come and speak to you about all the positions available and how you can apply for them. So these are where our graduates are working. And this is where you could see yourself working after you have finished your degree with us. And these are the positions that you could possibly be working as, right? So these are all the slides that I have for you, all the information that I have given you. I can see some questions popping up on the right-hand side. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation. I really appreciate it. And I do look forward to seeing you when you come on board on one of the courses that we have. I'm just now going to have a look at some of the questions that you have put into the chat. Right, let's see. Right, so Abigail, I have answered you there. In case anyone else has joined in since I've answered Abigail's question, Abigail is asking, is it possible to change courses even after receiving an unconditional offer? And the answer there is yes, you can actually change your course provided that you meet the entry requirements, which is the English language requirement. But I would imagine that you would meet that anyway because you've already been given an unconditional offer to study. And then in addition, you need to also make sure that you meet the academic requirements. And also we need to make sure that we still have space in that course. So in order to avoid that situation happening, what I would advise is perhaps speaking to myself and also getting a chance to speak to one of the program leaders and discuss with them what you yourself you're interested in and what you would like to do when you finish your degree. And then maybe we can guide you into making the right decision before you find yourself maybe in a degree that you want to change at a later time. Right, I hope that answers your question, Abigail. And if you do still have a question or any aspect that I haven't answered, please make sure that you put that into the chat. Right, so, and then there was a question that we had about the fast track for the accounting, finance, and regulation. And I think I was looking for a clarification there because there's not quite a fast track. I'll perhaps go back to that slide so that we can discuss it a little bit more. Right, so I'm assuming, because you haven't clarified your question there, I'm assuming that you're referring to the placement, perhaps. Right, the placement that we have is you will do your normal master's. So you do all the requirements that you need. So all the modules, study all the modules that you need to study in your first year. And then in your second year, you then go on a placement. So your placement will act like an internship, if you like, but without actually being an internship. It's a placement where you learn all the skills that you need to be on the job. And you apply for the placement yourself. So you will have a look through the companies that you want to work at, or the companies that employ people who have done MSc Accounting, Finance, and Regulation. And then you can approach them and you can ask them if they can provide you with a placement. But at the same time, we can help you with this. So we don't actually source the placement for you, but what we could do is perhaps put you in touch with industry professionals or companies that we have relationships with. And then from there, you can then source a placement for yourself. So we can assist you in the process. So again, I'm not sure if that answers your question, because you are asking for a fast track and we don't really offer a fast track. And if you still have a question on that, please go ahead and ask in the chat. Right, okay, so Abigail has another question. And it says, after completion of the course, do you guide students on employment and finding the right job market? Absolutely. We don't actually start after you've completed the course. This is something that we discuss with students from the get-go. So as soon as you come in, as soon as you're a student at GCU, we're already looking at the next chapter. We're already looking at what is going to happen after you finish your degree. So we already start supporting you. And also, I'll mention that we have a society, which is the Finance and Risk Society. And what they do, it's an entirely student-led society. But what they do is, if you were a part of the society, you speak with employers and you actually arrange, you become the person that arranges some of these industry speakers that come in. So from there, you yourself, you're forming relationships with the employers, and that gives you an awareness and a visibility, which is going to be very helpful when you're looking for a job. So yes, we do definitely guide you on employment, and certainly how to find employment, and the right job market as well. As I said previously, you're not limited to the financial sector. You can go in and work in any sector that you wish. And GCU graduates do have a very good reputation, and we do tend to have our graduates going into the biggest companies. And I showed you some of the examples in the last slide that we have. Right, so another question from Abigail. Right, thank you so much for all the questions, Abigail. Really appreciate them. Right, so for the MSc Risk Management, do we get exemptions to the accredited institutes? I am not sure about that specific question. I think what I can do is either you can email me, or I'm actually going to come back to this so that you can maybe capture John's email address, and that's something you might want to either address to John personally himself using this email address, or you can send me an email and I can forward that to John, or I can speak with him and then I'll come back to you on that question. What I can say in general is we do tend to have exemptions being offered to some of the professional exams that you need for chartership. But I would not be able to tell you which specific subjects you would get as exemptions for any specific program. But as I said, if you send me an email or you send an email to the relevant PL, program leader, then they'll be able to answer that question directly for you. Right, and right, we've got Celine from Nigeria as well. Hi. Right, let me see. And we've got Ruben, right? Okay. So Ruben, your question is, can you provide more details on the professional practice aspect of the course? Right, okay. I think I may have answered that at length, but Ruben, if you feel that there's any aspect which I haven't answered to your satisfaction, or something that I haven't answered that you still have a question on, please feel free to put in another question in the chat. Then you go on to say, are there any specific internship opportunities or projects with industry partners? There are many internship opportunities that will be available to you, not specifically tied with us in terms of GCU, but we do make them available to you. So what employers do is when they have internship opportunities available, they do speak with us, they do let us know, and then we pass you that information, and you then have to take the initiative to then take on board that opportunity and make the most of it. But yes, we do speak with employers. Employers speak with us. They come in and they tell us their opportunities, and we pass those on to you. And again, I hope that answers your question. Any further questions, please put them into the chat, please. Right, okay, so Wasiu is asking what has been the support given by GCU for their candidates having a better chance of being employed since the environment is competitive, right? And this is specifically for accounting and audit graduates you're asking for. I'll answer this for all of our graduates, right? So for finance, accounting, and risk, we pride ourselves in the quality of the courses that you're actually going to do. And all of this, the effort that we put in, we can see the results of it in the sense that industries really, really are looking for our graduates. They come on campus to look for our GCU graduates. They're holding events at our campus, at GCU campus, to come and employ GCU graduates, because they recognize the effort that we're putting into not just your courses that we're giving you there, but employability skills that you're getting from the industry speakers coming in, from having access to what is current issues that are happening in industry and how they're actually being dealt with, and skills that you need in terms of having the confidence to speak as well. So whatever it is that is relevant to you for your course is what we make sure that we give you all the skills that you need, and employability as well. We do recognize that the environment is very competitive, but I think the fact that all the big companies are coming in to us, they're coming for the events, as I said before, and they're also very interested in giving us internship opportunities and so forth. That gives you the edge, and you have software skills that other people will not be having. And this goes right across, not just accounting and audit. So we have the Bloomberg Lab that I mentioned previously, and that is being used in industry. We've got things like at risk that is being used in industry, and many other packages that are being used, and many other skills that are being used in industry. And we make sure that you have access to all of these so that you know them, you can talk about them in industry. Something that I actually haven't mentioned so far is we also make sure that all the students that we have access to the Financial Times. So we give you a free subscription to the Financial Times so that you have your finger on the pulse on everything that is happening in the industry. You don't have to pay for this. And again, we recognize that this is something that is required, having a knowledge of current issues and how industry is reacting to them and how you fit into that whole dynamic. We also have a subscription to The Economist as well, and you don't need to pay for that. You have access to that, but you also have to make sure that you're taking that initiative to make sure that you're going into the Financial Times, into The Economist, to read it and get the information that you need. But we certainly are providing all of these skills that you need. And we also provide events where employers come in, you meet employers, they speak with you about what they're looking for. And this is something that you can develop on your own, but we also give you every support that we can to develop the skills that you need academically and for employability, soft skills that you need as well. So as I said, this is not just for accounting and audit graduates. This is for everyone. Right. Okay. So again, Wasiu, I'm hoping that answers your question. If it doesn't, or if there's any aspect that you feel needs still to be addressed, please put in a question and I will answer that for you. Right, okay, let me see. There is another question that we have there. Right, okay, so Sunday is asking, right, hi Sunday, thank you for coming on and thank you for asking your question as well. Right, what is the learning style like? Do we have to be present physically through the week to attend lectures, or do we have some remote days? Right, so what we are doing at the moment is in lecture learning and in seminar working. So we have typically 2-hour lectures where you come in and you get the theory, you get the discussion, you get the knowledge from the lecture, and then you have a 1-hour seminar per week. So 2 hours for a lecture and 1-hour seminar in person coming in. So where you're actually physically present and you've got the lecturer in front of you. In the seminar, you get a chance to engage more closely with the work that you have done in the lecture, and you get to answer questions that get you to think and engage critically about the work that you're actually covering and what you're going to have to be doing when you get into industry. So it gives you an idea of the sort of discussions that are happening in industry. And from there, you're engaging better and you're able to learn more, because you yourself, it's practical learning, it's interactive learning that you're going to be engaging in. And we do find that that works better in terms of the student being there, building a relationship with the lecturer themselves, but also building a relationship with the students around you, your own peers as well, learning from each other, collaborative learning. That's something you need to do in industry, something you need to do when you actually go out into the workplace. It's something that we want to develop in you right from where you're a student. Having said that, there may be occasions when remote learning is necessary. So when this happens, this is not the norm, and it's certainly not what we generally do. But there will be an occasion that maybe necessitates that, and we have Collaborative Ultra, which is our interactive learning environment. So in that way, you're still able, even if you're not able to come on campus, we're still able to interact with you, but we prefer for you to be on campus. That would be the learning style that you would expect when you come along. Do we have any other questions? Or is there anything that you would like me to expand on? Anything that you're not very sure about? I would like to assure you, I think building up on the question that that Ruben was asking, right? Oh, I think Katie has just gone and actually spoken about that, right? Okay. It's just that actually, if you have any questions, there's always someone there to help you. So GCU staff are very accessible. So we're there to teach you academically, yes, but we're also very interested in you as a person. And from there, it means that even if you have a question which is not academically related, we will make sure that you have your question answered. If we can't actually answer your question, then what we will do is we will direct you to the right people. And I noticed that Katie has gone and put in information about our accommodation team that is there, because we recognize that you're coming from your country, you want to come in here and you want to settle and you want to be comfortable, as well as attaining your degree, you want to be happy. And we are well aware of that. So we have various teams that are dealing with accommodation issues, visa issues, and health and well-being as well, your own mental health. So we are very, very interested in you as people. So there's always going to be support available for you. And we operate office hours as well. So we don't just see you in the lectures or in the seminars. We have office hours where you're welcome to come in without making an appointment, you come in, ask your academic question, or just to say, actually, I've got issues with this, but I don't know where to go. Can you please help me? So apart from myself as internationalization lead, where I will be in touch with you all the time, you also have the rest of the academic staff as well. Whoever it is that you feel comfortable speaking with, we're all very accessible. Right, I noticed a few other comments there. Right, so Wasiu is asking, I would like to know if GCU partners with the company outside give scholarship to master's students based on academic performance during the course of the study. Right, okay, right. Katie, thank you so much for that. Right, so Katie has kindly put in all our scholarship information there so that you can go and have access to this. So you have scholarship information before you even start your course. So if you go ahead and click on that link, that will give you more information on what you're asking for there, Wasiu. And then Sunday, you're asking, did you say the 2 hours in the learning is per week? Right, yes, it's per week, but let me clarify. So for every module, that you do, so not just 2 hours for all the modules, each module that you do has a 2-hour lecture typically, and then 1 hour seminar in the week. So that means it's about 3 hours that you're going to be on campus per module that you do. So if we have a quick look at this one that is on the screen right now, that means, so you've got, for organizational risk, you have an hour's lecture. For quantitative and qualitative approaches, you'll have an hour's lecture, and so forth. And then, you'll have 2 hours lecture. Apologies for that, right? It's a 2-hour lecture that you're going to do, and 1 hour seminar. So you would engage with those for all of the modules that you do. So again, the different modules that you'll be looking at for each program that you're going to look at, each course that you do. If you go onto the website, you can have a look at all the modules that you're going to be doing for your specific course that you want to do. Right, okay, so Sunday, that's your question answered. Right, that's very good, that's brilliant. Right, and I do not see another question from Wasiu, so I'm assuming that that's your question answered as well. I did put in my email address at the start, but I think perhaps now I will put my email address again, just so that you've got this handy. And if there is any other questions that you want to ask, Ruben, Ruben, right, you're asking me, right, the question that Ruben is asking me is, in Kenya, the climate is generally warm. What support or advice does GCU provide to help students adapt to the colder and wetter weather? Right, yes, you're quite right. Our climate is colder and it is wetter in Glasgow. To be honest, it's generally easy for students to adapt. And the reason that I'm saying that is because it's not too cold that it would be intrusive. As long as, right, you wear layers on your clothes, right? So you wear a few different layers to keep yourself warm. It shouldn't be too intrusive in the sense that you end up not even noticing it. And always, and Katie will agree with me here, always carry an umbrella, because just because you left home and it wasn't raining does not mean it's not going to rain when you're coming back from your lectures. So always carry an umbrella. Yes, absolutely, always. But we tend to find that honestly students adapt very, very easily to the weather. It is colder, you're absolutely right. It is colder, but You, as I said, wear your layers. Just make sure that you invest in a really warm jacket or a coat, and we'll be able to guide you on where to go and get these, and you don't spend too much money on them either. Or you can bring one from home and you'll be absolutely fine. To be honest, you'll be absolutely fine. And I've got, let me see, what else do we have? Right, so Ruben, I hope that answers your questions with regards to the weather. We've not had anyone drop out because of the weather yet, thankfully. You adapt, you'll be fine. Right, and then let's see, Abigail is asking, how many modules do you do in a trimester, right? So we tend to run on a trimester system, and that is 3 trimesters that we have. And I think just generally it's about, let me see, about 4 that you'll be looking at in order to complete your degree there. So generally about 4. The specific number that you would do will differ depending on the course that you're doing. So if you have a specific course that you're interested in, reach out to me or to the specific program leader, and they can help you with that. So that will be throughout the week there. Right. Okay, so again, Abigail, I hope that answers your question, but again, I'm not being very specific. Let me know the program that you actually want to do, or go ahead and email the specific program leader, and they can let you know the exact number that you specifically are going to be doing for your program. Right, okay, so, and then we have another question from Olu Kayode, right? And it is, do GCU assist international students with visa processing? We have a wonderful visa team, actually, and they will be able to guide you and help you and support you in any way that you need. Right, so I'm just noticing that Katie, you've already answered that. You're definitely on the ball, Katie. Thank you. Right, she's already answered that question, right? And essentially, she's just saying there is a CAS team, there is a visa team, and they're all there to help you from before you're even a student, right from the start of your application through to getting your visa. And we have specific visa webinars as well. That's fantastic. There's so much support that we give you all the way through, to be honest. So again, hoping that, right, I'm just making sure that my email or my email address is there. Right, okay, great. Is that actually popping up? I'm not sure what is. I think it doesn't like the fact that I'm saying at, because it thinks that I want to. Oh, finally, there we go. It thought that I wanted to send you a chat. That's why it wasn't coming up. But it's all come up now. So my email address is there for you. If there's any question that you feel that I haven't answered, I still feel like there's one question that I missed because I was answering Abigail's question. So I'll come back to Abigail's question. Right, and then visa processing, Ruben. Right, okay, so Ruben, yes, I thought there was a question I hadn't asked. Sorry about that. Right, so the question that Ruben is asking is, are there student clubs, networking events, or cultural societies that international students can join to build connections and engage in personal development and enhance their university experience? And I'm absolutely sure Katie is on the ball with it. Yes, she is. Right. Well done, Katie. Thank you. Right. Yes, we do have a number of society. There's so many societies that you can join. And Katie has put in a link there for you as well that you can go ahead and look at already and see which ones you might be interested in as well. Brilliant. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Katie. And I hope that answers your question that you're asking. All right, Ruben, you have said thank you. So I think that has answered the question that you're asking. Are there any other questions that you would like to ask, academic or otherwise? So today you've been quite a lively bunch. That is fantastic. You've been asking questions about the weather, right? And you've been asking questions about societies. I think you'll have great fun when you come and join GCU, to be honest, especially if you're willing to engage as well. So you need to be also wanting to go out there, gain the skills that you need, and then also be willing to meet other people. And just in general, just Glasgow itself is a wonderful place to be. It's so vibrant as a city, and there is so much to do. It doesn't matter what you want to do, you will find it in Glasgow. If you're the kind of person who likes nightlife, you like to go out, that is there for you. There's plenty of restaurants for people who are foodies, if you enjoy your food. If you're someone who enjoys going to museums, we've got museums, so many of them, and really, really great museums as well. We've got parks. If you're an outdoor person, right, if you like to go to parks, that's there as well for you. We've got great architecture. If you like to walk around looking at buildings, we've got great architecture there. You can do that. If you're someone who prefers more of the great outdoors, not just the park, we're only an hour away from hills, mountains. You can go mountain climbing if you want to. We've got parks all around, actual nature parks. We've got lakes, and these are all less than an hour away, to be honest. They're within an hour. And then if you wanted to, you can travel a little bit further if you wanted to. That's entirely up to you. And you can go across to Edinburgh as well. But we've got plenty in Glasgow. You don't even need to leave Glasgow. It's a wonderful place to be for a student. And you will absolutely love it. I guarantee that. You definitely will.
Nancy, I just wanted to say thank you from myself and from all of our attendees. It's been a fantastic webinar, and thank you to everyone for participating in the chat. There's been some really great questions, a big variety today. So it's been really good, I think, for everyone to see the different questions coming in and hear your answers. So thank you so much for your time, and for everyone who joined us. Just a reminder that the support does